Hello friends and welcome. I'm Sarah Liz and this is Technique Tuesday. We're going to make a fun, simple card today and we're going to focus on the technique of color blocking. This is my Oh So Inspired card. It's part of a collaboration I do with some of my friends every month. This month's inspiration is from the Instagram account Must Create Cards, and I love the color blocking that's behind all those leaf elements. So we're going to be inspired by the color blocking, the leaves, and then finally a very simple happy birthday sentiment. So let's get started. I'm going to use two colors of paint here. These are from Dina Wakley, and one is called Watery, the other is Taffy. It's like a soft, slightly tealish blue and a soft pink. These are a gloss paint, and so the card is going to catch the light a little bit when you tilt it because of the glossy nature of it. And I really love that. I think it adds an extra layer of surprise and interest to the card. I'm using a flat brush. I'm sure there's like a fancy name for it, but this is sort of beginner 101. I haven't done anything like this in years, but I started in mixed media, and one of my goals this year is to get back to mixed media a little bit, but I don't want to dig into anything that's going to be a huge mess. I don't want to dig into anything where y'all are going to be like, has she lost her mind? What is going on? And this felt like a really great place to start. So I'm just creating some very organic shapes, and because my brush is pretty flat, the bristles are in good shape, which I cannot say of all of my paint brushes. I'm just going over these shapes over and over again, trying to clean up the lines. I don't want a big buildup or a ridge of paint along the edges of these. And then in some places it's thinner than in others. So as they start to dry, I did go back in and fill some spots in. I wanted to create a visual triangle to begin with, and I also wanted to make a pattern that is much bigger than what I need. That way I can crop it down later. I'm not always great at visualizing from the beginning what I want a background to look like, and so this was a really great way to get started. I have a sheet of 8.5 by 11. It's a 100-pound cardstock. If you wanted to do this technique not with acrylic paint, because I understand this isn't everyone's favorite medium, you could do this with watercolor. You could do this with the ink pads that you already have. I would highly recommend a watercolor cardstock if you're going to do that. I actually started with a piece of watercolor cardstock on my desk, but it's a little bit yellow, just the brand that I have, and I wanted a brighter white in the background, so I switched to acrylic, but you certainly wouldn't have to. It would be a lot of fun to do this in watercolor and then to use some metallic paint in there too. I thought about that, but again, we're keeping it really simple. When I went to choose my colors, I wanted to make sure they were going to play well together. And a soft pastel to me is a little easier, a little more beginner than choosing bright, bold colors that might not play nicely. These are also slightly transparent, and if you're using an ink or if you're using a watercolor, you're going to have that same thing happening. So I went in with my heat gun and dried that teal paint before I started with the pink. And I also know that these two play well together. If I were to just mix them, I'm going to get purple, and I'm okay with a little purple on my card. It doesn't actually look particularly purple, but you can see the teal through the pink. I like the added layer of interest that that brings in here. And so far, this worked honestly so much better than I thought, because I was like, I'm out of practice. This is going to be really tricky. Nope. I went in and I added 3 more blobs. I do have a little bit of white peeking between the one I'm painting right now and the next teal piece. I wish there were a little more white space on the edges. I also have a bunch of white in the middle and a bunch of white around the edges. I'm going to crop this down later, and I'm going to pay a lot of attention to where that white space is. I don't actually want white smack dab in the middle of my card. I want it to end up in a third on the side, a third towards the bottom, something like that, right? Our eye really likes that look. So I have this piece of cardstock I cut probably with a die, but you could do it with a trimmer. And I can sort of audition what part of this pattern I want to keep. And once I get it there, I'm going to sort of tuck this down into the right ever so slightly and make a little mark in the corner. And then when I take it to my trimmer, I'm just trying to cut along those lines, and then I'll crop it down to an A2. So what we're going to have then is a lot more white space on the far right. And then our sort of center white space is actually further to the left. It's not smack in the middle, which is really fantastic. This, honestly, I love so much, and I really wish I had gone and photocopied it first so you could have a copy of that. But next time I'll try to remember to do that. To add some visual interest, I am grabbing the Leaf Mix die set from Altenew. This is a set I've had for years and years. One of the first sets I bought when I came back to card making, and it has been a favorite for a long time. What I like about it is that there are simple shapes and there are lots of them. There's also a lot of negative space, so I can still see through them to that color blocked area. And that means my background gets a chance to shine. You don't need this leaf set. Let's be really clear. This is about the technique. There are tons of die sets out there that have leaves in them. So check for other leaves that you may have, or you might choose to use a background stamp or a better press plate. I thought about better pressing this. One of the tricks on this one, because that paint is a little shiny, is that I probably would stamp or better press with StazOn, or I could use a pigment ink and then heat emboss on top of it. Otherwise, it might smear on top of that glossy paint. But if you were just using your dye inks instead, you could use anything you wanted to stamp on top. One of the things I played with as an idea was a background stamp or better press plate. I have both that are like a scripty font. That would be beautiful in a black back there. And if I was feeling really brave, I might do black, like stamp all over it in black, and then add some gold embossing powder or gold ink in strategic areas to get a little extra shine going on. When I go to fill this in, because I am not working with something that's already a solid piece, I like to start in the middle. And actually, I laid all of them out on some white cardstock ahead of time just to see if I was going to like it. And then I took a picture of it before I started moving anything. There are a few places in here where I've cut from one leaf to the next. And part of that's because I stopped, I set it down, I looked at the picture on my phone so I could remember where I wanted it. I've done a trick before too with a sticky mat where I sort of pick it all up at the same time and then lay it back down. But because these lines are so delicate, I'm not even tapping these off on the back of my hand. Like I have a little silicone mat there that I'm tapping these pieces off on because it would have been a lot of glue. It would have been a big old mess. Once I get everything in place, I'll just flip this over and trim around the edges, and this will clean everything up really nicely. You certainly could use a trimmer to do this if you wanted, but when there's all these tiny little pieces, this works best for me. Sometimes my trimmer is a little aggressive and it will sort of pull and tear on. Well, I need a new one. You guys, I need a new trimmer, but I like my old one. But sometimes it'll tear little delicate pieces. So whatever you are most comfortable with. I did have one partial leaf left over and then a little spot here that I wasn't happy with. I thought it was a little too empty. So I added that leaf on there. I have just a regular old happy birthday sentiment that is white text on black from this Sassy Birthday kit. This is kit 55. It came out last January, and I will link to that video below if you would like to snag this kit. But I think this white text on black was probably at the friends tier or the supporters tier. So if that's you, check for that. And I am just going to trim it down. Originally, I had another one of my old favorite die sets that I was going to use, and then I trimmed it funky and it wasn't centered. There's this pretty pink Posh set. Lauren Taylor used it the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had that. And it's got these beautiful like scallops around the outside and these stitch details. I'll link it below if you want to check it out. You just have to be a little like clever when you use it and make sure that your strip sentiment's going to be the same width as the scallop die cut piece. But in the end, I actually like that this is a little smaller even. It disappears even a little bit more. And I added a little bit of foam and a matte layer in like a matte silver. And I'm just going to stick that down in the right corner. I am auditioning it. I just have that foam tape stuck to my pokey tool so I could make sure I liked where it was going, and then I can add everything onto my card base. I will say I try not to use tweezers if I have a toner printed white text on black, or if I'm using a metallic cardstock, because sometimes it can scratch it. But this worked really, really nicely. My friends, do you see that shine? Isn't it pretty? Oh, I love this so much. Be sure to check the description box below for the collaboration playlist and hop along to see what everybody else made. I hope this inspires you to try color blocking. It's a lot of fun and super simple. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I will see you next time.